And now, introducing your host, LFA.
Yeah, brother. When I'm done with this video, I'm gonna get it on like a grown man is supposed to.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
What's up, brothers?
Hope everybody's doing well out there. It's a beautiful evening in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's about 85 degrees, light breeze. Perfect day to sit out here in the driveway as the sun goes down, shoot the shit with you guys. And in tonight's video, we're going to talk once again about retention, all right? And in tonight's video, I'm going to talk about why retention is probably going to be your last stop in the manosphere. You're going to have no reason to learn game, have a dating coach, watch Red Pill, MGTOW, PUA, any of that stuff. You're going to be done with it. You will graduate. You don't need it anymore. You don't need to learn game when you are game. You don't need to learn how to attract women when you are fucking magnetic. You don't need it. And that's what's going to happen to you. 7 to 14 days. Give it a try. You know, I thought the whole thing was bullshit. And why did I think that? Because my results in life haven't been that bad. Okay, I've done okay. And definitely I've done more than okay when it comes to, you know, my dating life, my sex life, right? But okay, or more than okay, isn't my best. And I never realized that, you know. Ever since probably junior high, I either had a girlfriend that I was sleeping with regularly. Maybe I was living kind of like a player type of lifestyle where I was sleeping with women regularly. Or I would substitute with porn or something like that, right? And I think to some degree that's the way most guys live, right? You're constantly having meaningless sex, right? Or meaningless orgasms. And they even tell you in mainstream media, like doctors and stuff in the media will tell you, oh, it's perfectly healthy. It's perfectly healthy to watch porn and jack off every single day. You know, so on and so forth. Like, that is a healthy lifestyle. And they tell men and women this, and guys, don't think it's just men that are addicted to that sort of thing. I would say a good 30% of the women that I actually get into these kind of conversations with admit to being addicted to porn. So there's a lot of women out there that they're not getting what they want out of life. Their brains are fucked up. Their dopamine receptors are fucked up because they are going home and they're watching porn and they have a dildo collection and all that. I know this is a weird subject, but it's true, you know, and it screws their lives up too. It slows them down a lot too. And it actually affects them in an even worse way than it does men because it alters their mirror neurons. A woman's mirror neurons are what makes her able to feel what other people are feeling. You know, when a woman looks at a baby's face, she can see the baby's sad and she feels the sadness from the baby. It makes her a better mother. It makes her a better wife, right? So normally in a more traditional time, you'll pursue a woman, you're falling in love with her, she's receiving this love, she can read and sense, her intuition tells her that you love her, and she receives the love and reciprocates it back to you. Like, that's the natural human experience with love and bonding, right? But women who are addicted to porn, they're broken, right? They're unable to have these meaningful relationships. And we're seeing the impact of that in society right now. It's very true. And, you know, nobody wants to talk about it, but it's happening. Right there in your town. The women are fucked up and nobody's there to help them. You know, maybe you can help them. Who knows? But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about why this is going to be your last stop. You know, once you find retention and you start retaining, no need for all that other shit. Women can smell retention on you, okay? They can sense it. The human attraction experience is different for men and women, right? Men, we are visual. We look at the beauty of a woman and we say, you know what, this woman is beautiful. I want to talk to her. I want to be with her. I want to have a relationship with her. I want to have sex with her. And there's all different forms of beauty. You can just look at a woman's face. It's the face of a woman and it's beautiful to you. You see it and you just fall in love with it, right? But we're visual. You know, we're emotional too, and we have other things going on, but we're very visual in our attraction process. We are. Women are intuitive, right? So it's not just visual. You know, you can be extremely good looking, but if you don't have the congruency with your attitude, your personality, your intelligence, your confidence, her intuition is going to tell her that you're not the guy. You know, that's just the way that it is. And when you're a guy who is retaining, you are always that guy. You pass every single test. You know, the depleted coomer, and some of you maybe you used to be depleted coomers, you know. I think we all were at one state. And when you were a depleted coomer, whether you realize it or not, you were always in a simp's mind. You had the mindset of a simp. And you were always trying to figure out how to be more alpha, right? You wanted to figure out how to be the ladies' man, how to be the dominant masculine alpha male that women want to be with. And you learned game, you learned how to talk, you learned pickup lines, you learned what messages work, what messages don't, but you were still failing the tests. In the long game, you were still failing the tests. Why? Because you were only doing all of this because you were seeking women's approval, right? It was for female validation. You were desperately seeking women's approval, so you put on a mask and you pretended to be this alpha male, or you thought you were learning how to be an alpha male, learning how to be confident. But at the end of the day, you can't learn how to be confident. Confidence is a feeling. It is inside of you. You either have it or you don't. That's just the way that is. You know, it's like losing a loved one, right? The sadness you have inside of you when you lose a loved one, you can't fake that. You can't teach somebody to get over that. It's a natural process. You have to let nature take its course. You're heartbroken and then you get over it as time goes on. But confidence is the same way. You either have it in you or you don't. You can't choose to be confident. You just can't do it. But when you start retaining and your dopamine levels start to skyrocket, you know, because when you're constantly cooming, whether it's with meaningless low-level women or internet porn, you are always you are causing a dopamine rush in your brain every time you do that. And what happens when you cause a dopamine rush? Your body counteracts it, so it depletes your dopamine. So your normal levels of dopamine go down because you're having these peaks and these ups and downs, and it's screwing you up. You know, your dopamine, your serotonin, they're lower than they should be. Your testosterone's lower than it should be. And nobody is telling you that this is happening. They're saying it's totally healthy, just keep doing it. But when you start retaining and these levels all go up, now all of a sudden there is no such thing as depression. There is no such thing as anxiety. There's no such thing as shame or guilt. So now when you're speaking with women, when you're talking to women, you're no longer seeking approval. You're no longer seeking validation. None. You know, when you were seeking validation, you thought about what you should say. You were thinking, you know, should I say this? Should I do this? And when you walked away from the encounter, you were thinking, man, did I say that right? Did I screw that up? But when you are retaining, you're not worried about what you say. No, you have full confidence. You display full confidence. And when you approach a woman, you are approaching her to gauge your level of interest in her. The tables have flipped. You are now the magnet. You are the magnetic force of attraction. that she wants to be with. So when you approach her, you say, you're asking her questions. You want to figure out if she's that girl. And if she's not, you're perfectly okay with moving on to another. You're in a totally different situation. And like I said, women can smell this retention on you. And when I say that, I mean that. They've done so many studies. Of course, they always throw them out. As soon as they start to prove these things to be true, they stop. They stop funding it. They throw it out. They don't want to teach it in schools. But women can sense a strong, healthy alpha male by the smell of his sweat. They've done studies where they have strong alpha males sweatshirts versus, weak beta male sweatshirts. The women are turned on by the strong alpha males, all right? They have studies where women's tears are on shirts and the men smell the tears and the men's prolactin goes up, causing their estrogen to go up, and the man gets more emotional just off the pheromones of a woman's tears. So the pheromones of a man get a woman wet. The pheromones of a woman's tears make a man emotional, right? So it makes us want to protect them. But when you are retaining, you're exuding these pheromones. I believe that 100%. Now, there's some science to back it, but of course, they won't fund these studies. We can never find out the 100% truth. But I shit you not, man. You start retaining 7 to 14 days and start talking to women, the same women you were talking to before, and tell me what kind of results you're getting. There are thousands and thousands of men all saying the same thing. Day before yesterday, I decided to go see my ex-girlfriend. We had an okay relationship. We can still talk. We're still cool. But there's really nothing intimate between the two of us anymore. And she had sent me a text randomly, and I kind of made a surprise visit over to her place. And I walk in there, and I'm standing in the kitchen, leaning up against the counter with my arms crossed, just looking at her. And she's pouring me a drink, and she just starts stumbling, fumbling around, anxious and nervous. And then she just starts saying, "You're so energetic. You're so high energy. You're so high energy." Almost hyperventilating. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on with this girl? And I'm just fucking standing there, man. I've never got this reaction out of her before. Now, to be honest, I didn't want to start anything up again, so I didn't have sex with her. But I guarantee you, if I would have said, "You want a back massage?" she would have been speechless. She would have just, and we would have got busy, and again, I'm not a person that's really ever, struggled, so to say, with women, but at about 7 days into retaining, the amount of women that were just randomly giving me their phone numbers or asking for my phone number, just these bizarre, these things that, normally I do most of the pursuing, but all of a sudden, women are doing all the pursuing. And again, it's not just me. We're talking with thousands of guys here sharing information, and thousands of men are saying the same thing. Women are knocking on their doors wanting to have sex with them. Things that just didn't happen before. And, it's just amazing that no one's telling you guys this. Of course, we've got people on YouTube, but everybody shuns these guys and acts like these guys are just nut jobs. Dudes sitting in their Honda Accords talking about stopping jacking off and shit. But it's not just jacking off, man. It's this stupid sex addiction that guys have. They'll do whatever it takes. They'll go on Tinder and they'll sleep with any woman they can possibly find. I used to be like that too, man. It was like path of least resistance. You're just trying to hook up with any woman you can get with, right? That's a sex addiction, all right? So when you're on retention, what you have is a sex drive. It's not an addiction anymore because you've defeated the addiction. So now you have a sex drive, which enables sexual transmutation. So not only do you have these pheromones going, not only can women smell the confidence on you and sense the confidence on you, but now you have drive. You have sexual transmutation. And you can use this energy on whatever you want. You can start your business. You can build your physique. You can use it with your social circle because you're definitely going to want to communicate with other people. You're in such a high vibrancy mood, you just want to communicate with everybody. There's just so many different ways you can level up in your life. And guys, if you aren't sold yet, let me put it like this. We're this far in the video. If you were to hold a fully loaded Glock in your hand and point it at something over there. You point a fully loaded Glock at something, right? Over here. Let's get the arm in the shot. Well, brother, a fully loaded Glock, right? You point it at something. And then you empty the magazine. You unload it. And then you hold it again and you point it at something. Empty, no bullets. In which state do you think you would feel the strongest? In which state would you feel the most powerful? When it's fully loaded or when it's empty? All right? That's exactly what it feels like when you're retaining. You feel fully loaded. You're fully charged. You're operating at 100%. You're an unstoppable force. It's just the way that it works. And you're going to find yourself in situations where, animals, wild animals, want to be around you. All different types of animals. Children are going to want to talk to you. Like you're going to be a high vibrancy being. People are going to be attracted to you. It's not just women. But I know most of you guys are mostly concerned about the woman attraction, right? So we have to talk about the woman attraction too. But it only makes sense that women want a guy with the good milk. The guy with the pure seeds. A guy that's practicing retention. He's full. He's full of life and full of energy. So once you discover this, and you have this true confidence oozing from your vein, and you become the energetic alpha of the room, you will have no need to learn game. You are game. You ooze game. Women will find you irresistible. And that woman that you want the most, the one that's the hardest to get, you can get all these easy, low-level women, but that one that you really want, you can have her too. She's going to find you irresistible. Now, guys, we'll continue discussing this subject later on down the road. We've got a few other subjects that we need to discuss next week and the week after or whatever, but we will be back on this topic because it's a very important topic. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was somewhat informative, and it was really enjoyable being out here shooting the shit with you guys. Well, listen, guys, I'm gonna have to take off. That's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.